It is 11 minutes past 8. Thank you for being with us on this Monday morning. We're talking about traffic jams today because they are a source of misery for millions of us. And as more of us take to the roads, there's an increased need for new ways to cut congestion.
As you've been hearing this morning, the UK is the worst country in Europe for tailbacks. I'm sure lots of you imagined that already. We're also at the forefront of trialling solutions like smart motorways, which use the hard shoulder as an extra lane. So let's have a look at the kind of congestion that we're talking about. Should we do that?
Yes, let's do that.
This is the M4 near Brentford right now. Just look at that slow-moving traffic. And while we do that, we're going to talk to our guests here, motoring campaigner Quentin WIllson and Colin Bamford, Professor of Transport and Logistics at Huddersfield University. Morning, both. Lots of people who are going out today will, in many ways, not be surprised by these figures. Colin Bamford, why is it we have such bad traffic, do you think, jams?
I think the bottom line is we've basically too many cars and too many people using the cars, often unnecessarily, in order to make short trips when in fact they could either walk, cycle or use other modes of transport. It's quite interesting this week, with it being school half term, the degree of congestion in many places will be considerably less than it would otherwise be during school term time.
Yeah, quite a few people had half term last week as well, didn't they? Well, let's talk solutions, Quentin. What can be done, what should be done?
Well, the reason we have this worst congestion in Europe, and we are 27th in the road network lead of the world, which is shocking, is because we've historically under-invested in roads. FairFuel are publishing a report on Wednesday in front of the all-party parliamentary group, saying that spending 55 billion on a railway that really goes nowhere when we should be spending this on roads is just an act of complete folly. So if you want to know the reasons why we have this congestion, it is simply we have not spent enough on roads over a long period of time.
But there is money, I mean, the government would argue there is money being spent on roads, and also things like smart motorways do make a difference. Would you acknowledge that?
They do, but the money apportioned in the autumn statement is a raindrop echoing in an ocean. If we carry on the way we're going, we'll be looking at a cost to UK society in the next 15 years of £307 billion in terms of congestion. And that's reducing our productivity, reducing our competitiveness with the rest of the world, and also air quality as well. I mean, the cost of the NHS from all that pollution is going to be seismic as well. So we need a joined up strategy. And you can't say, just give up our cars, because 83% of all journeys on our roads are done by cars. So what is the alternative? If we went on public transport tomorrow morning, it would be broken by tomorrow afternoon. So we need an alternative.
Department of Transport spokesman, you already mentioned the autumn statement, didn't you? We're making the most extensive improvements to roads since the 1970s, £23 billion. I mean, what seems to be the crux of this is, you know, the investments there, but how to keep the traffic moving, keep the
flowing. Yeah, that's it. And for the last 20 years, we've had an anti-car rhetoric where roads have been narrowed, where we've got more and more traffic lights. It's not difficult to understand how to make roads flow and to take away some of these pinch points. And spending 55 billion minimum on a railway when you should be actually opening up the roads so the traffic flows, so we don't get congestion, is to me the way ahead.
But that's going to cause, isn't it? Wider roads means more traffic, means more congestion.
I agree with what Quentin has said. I'm an economist, and in my view, what's required is a radical overhaul of the way in which we charge motorists and other road users for the way in which you use the network.
So you're talking about sort of congestion charges,
yes,
or how would you make them pay?
Various ways. The most extensive scheme is one which is in Singapore, whereby it's, if you like, pay as you go. In London, the congestion charge is seen as a way of reducing the volume of congestion.
But you have to, for that, you'd have to go against, you know, public opinion. Because in Singapore, there was a lot of support for that cause. I think in Manchester, they threw the opportunity for congestion charge, and 85% of people said no thanks.
I agree entirely, but we're in a situation where we need a radical rethink about the way in which we tackle these congestion problems. The report that you referred to in the news bulletin also talked about home working, and there may be a way in which employers...
Have connectivity of broadband across the country. We don't have that either.
Well,
road charging would only work if the money goes back into roads, and we don't pay vehicle excise duty, and we don't pay road tax. Consumers will not buy road charging unless that money is like the continental model, where we invest it in roads.
Okay, go on.
I was just going to say, if you look at the Netherlands, they're very close to introducing a national system of road users charging. The problem with the way in which we pay to use roads is that the prices are all to pot. Where someone is using a road in a peak period, then in effect they're just not paying what is seen as an adequate.
It's very interesting that point, because obviously on trains you pay more for travelling on peak period, right, don't you, as well? Thank you both very much indeed, and thank you so much for all your comments. We quickly look at a couple. A lot of you, of course, are making the point. Lorraine says public transport at best woeful and very expensive in this country as well, unless you live in London.
Yeah, Stuart says there's nothing which will cost nothing to public information. Allow drivers to turn left on red traffic lights, which they do in US and in Canada. And Mike says maybe more flexible working hours, later delivery times, better public transport, car sharing and road works could then be done more efficiently.
The only thing I want to say is good luck on your journey today.